All right, module 15 in the 30-day fast start buyer agent training here with Ashley and Andrew, and we are doing structure of a call. We just finished a bunch of modules on FirePoint and lead management and a Mojo dialer and all that good stuff. So now we're into what happens when you talk to one of these people, right? And so you talk to a prospect on the phone, and what is the structure of the call? And this is a document where I would encourage you to print it, laminate it, keep it on your desk in front of you at all times. There are 6 things. They're highlighted there at the top of the buyer training packet that we have. And I don't know if you guys have it in front of you. I have it as page 25. And I don't know if your pages are the same as mine. But you'll see at the top highlighted is location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, and appointment. And so I'm just going to go down through these with you guys. And Andrew, still, you got it, Andrew?
Yep.
So the first one is talk to a call from the bucket. And the person actually engages with you. You made like 25 calls. You get a live answer. Hey, so sorry to bother you. This is Ashley over at the Dave Hook team. Just noticed you were poking around on Zillow of some properties in the last month or two, and we're just cleaning up our system. Wanted to make sure you found what you need, and if not, that you're finding what you needed. Saw you were logged into our search engine recently. Did you find what you needed? No, I just haven't. We just can't seem to find the right property. Doesn't seem like anything's on the market for very long. You know what? That's a great point. It doesn't seem like things are on the market very long. Things are selling really fast, and that's why a lot of times we're trying to keep in touch with people to show them off-market properties that haven't hit the market yet, or even sometimes we're going out of our way to find like expired properties or properties that were withdrawn last year. We have such a shortage of inventory that we need to go the extra mile to find our buyers the properties that they want. Oh, what do you mean off-market properties? Are there some properties that I can't see? Well, our team's one of the top teams in the mid-state of Pennsylvania, and a lot of times we have upcoming listings that we can share with our buyers. And if you're kind of out there on your own poking around on Zillow, you're only going to see properties as all the other 10,000 buyers see them, and sometimes they're just snatched up really fast. So that's just one of the value adds that we offer our buyers, when they start to work with us. Oh, well, how, and then you might follow that up with, would you like to be involved in that? Would you like us to tip you off when we see something? Great. Yeah, I would. And then you might say, great. What's best is if it probably makes sense for you to just pop in the office for a few minutes, and I just want to get some basic information from you. Only take about 10-15 minutes. You don't need no pressure obligation to sign anything or anything like that. You don't have to pay anything, but we just need to do an intake form on you. Are you free tomorrow at 5:30? Right. So you're just working. You're laying out what's called a gold brick, or an item of value, or something that they'll want. And can you guys remember what that might have been that I laid out for them that they might want?
Access to houses that aren't on the market yet.
Right. So the reason that I said might be able to get access, I didn't even say you might. I just said a lot of times our buyers, we need to go out of our way to get them access to off-market properties. So I wasn't even selling him. I wasn't even saying you should do this. All I was saying was a lot of times our buyers, we need to go out of our way to get them off-market properties they can't see on Zillow, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not offering that to him. That's just something that we do, right? And so the reason I said that is because he said it feels like properties are always gone.
Right.
So he identified a need, and 99% of sales is listening. He identified a need, and I identified a solution, right? And so a lot of times a gold brick, when we lay it out on the table, an item of value, it's hard for them not to ask a question about that. And we don't need to give them the brick. We don't even need to tell them how great it is. In fact, the more we sell him the brick, the less he's going to want it. All we need to do is say, oh, this guy has a need, and I know of a solution. It's over there, right? It's just over there. It's something that we do. And we move right through the call. 9 times out of 10, there might be some follow-up around, what do you mean? What is that over there, that thing you talked about? And now we can we can start to talk about ourselves because he gave us permission to talk about ourselves, right? So when we come at somebody and start talking about ourselves and how great we are and all of the benefits that it's like missile defense systems go up, right? It's not a helpful thing. We haven't earned the right to talk about ourselves. What we have earned the right to do is listen well and offer up some solutions that we might know about that he would find some benefit in. And so we laid out this gold brick, which enables us to do things like build some rapport and talk about, some things and maybe even schedule an appointment. So no matter what, the structure of a call is questions in the beginning, usually a question or two, like what did you find what you're looking for, what brought you to Zillow, or some open-ended questions, number one. And then opportunity to build rapport or find common ground, and also balance between listening and laying out a gold brick to them in that conversation of rapport building and common ground. It's a bit of a dance, and there's a bit of messiness to it because there's no right time to do that or not. You just kind of got to feel the person out. And then inevitably, once that happens, once we've got some permission, like they're attracted to something that we have, they want to see a property, they're just engaging with us, like, tell me about Carlisle, right? Or tell me about properties in the 200,000. All of a sudden, we have something, whatever that something is, whether we came up with it or it was given to us. They're like, I want to see that property on 123 Main Street. Whatever it is, they're biting on what we have. Immediately, the next phase of the call is what you see in front of you. So there's 6 questions that need answered on every call. And there's no particular order for how these are going to be answered. But every single call needs these 6. And the faster you can get these 6 things, the better you're going to be at qualifying a lead. So the first phase of the prospect is questions, rapport, trust, common ground, gold brick. At some point in there, could be the first 30 seconds, they're like, I just want to see this house. Okay, I'm going right to structure of a call. We have something they need. Okay? Or it could take 10 minutes for me to kind of work through the trust, and finally they're like, off-market properties, yeah, that is something. Structure of a call. Second phase of the call is structure of the call. And so, Scott, before we schedule, so great, you're available at 5:30 tomorrow. I'm going to reserve the conference room for you. And my office is at 977 Walnut Bottom Road. We'll just take 15 minutes or so. You can pop in and we'll go over off-market properties with you and get you what you need. Before I let you go, though, can I just confirm a couple more things for me, Scott? Yeah, great. All right, so just out of curiosity, what's your location preferences when you're looking for a home? I noticed you're looking at the Carlisle School District. Is school district important to you, or what else is important to you? He'll answer the question, write it down. Great. And what do you think your budget is? Have you explored monthly payment? Have you thought about what you can afford, what you're comfortable with? And so let him talk about that. And just now we're going to get down to motivation. So, Scott, just so I can get a really good idea of how best to serve you in a perfect world, which we know that's not the case all the time, but if the world was perfect, when would you see yourself in the home of your dreams? Like the perfect home in a perfect world. When would that be? Are you thinking like a month out, or like 5 months out, or a year or more out? What's your timeline look like, Scott? So give them some examples, right? Lead into a month out, a year, because the first thing they're thinking is this salesperson wants to pressure me into buying something. So give them, a month out, 6 months, a year out. Doesn't matter to me. What are you thinking? Let them speak to that. That's going to give you motivation, which is like the gold standard of qualifying, right? The location is important, but if you don't get it, it's important because if they're buying out of the area, then that's a problem. Mm-hmm. Price is important, but again, if you don't get it, it's not. But motivation is a must, because your time spent on somebody is a function of motivation. And Scott, by the way, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. And if you're going to come in here, I just need to clear something up. Are you working with another agent, or if If you found a house, a perfect home, would you have a friend or a relationship with another realtor that you'd be working with? No, I haven't signed anything. I don't have any relationships. And then, okay, and the other thing, Scott, just before I let you go, have you talked to a lender, or would it be helpful for me to get you some information from some trusted local lenders that I know would take good care of you if you decide to make a purchase? Let him speak to that, whether he's talked to a lender. Now, there's follow-up questions on all these, but the way that I framed those calls are all just very soft pitches, very easy to talk, to. There's no pressure about them. You'll notice that I didn't say, where do you want to live? Right? I said, hey, Scott, so I noticed you were looking in the Carlisle School District. Is school district important to you, or what are your location preferences in the area? Right? Pretty easy question to answer. I didn't say, Scott, how much can you afford, or what's the most money that you can afford to pay for a house? Probably not helpful. I said, hey, Scott, have you thought about, monthly payment and what type of budget you'd have peace of mind about, right? I didn't say, Scott, do you think you ready to buy now? And instead, I said, so Scott, tell me, in a perfect world, would you be in a home in the next month or 6 months, or are you thinking more like a year or two out? Now, Scott might say, I'm thinking like 6 months out. Tell me a little bit more about that, Scott. It's a great follow-up. Tell me a little bit more about that, Scott. Well, we're in a lease, and so, I just don't know if we can get out of a lease. Oh, okay. When does your lease actually end, Scott? So every one of these has follow-up questions. It's the parent question and then follow-up for me, and I'm listening to understand what their needs are, because the whole time I'm going to be piling up some other items of value that I can bring Scott. And that's everything I'm doing is I'm listening so when I meet with Scott, I come equipped with a lot of value, and he's just going to be blown away at the notes that I took and the bricks that I lay out. He's going to be like, wow, I don't even want to talk to another realtor because this person just brought a lot of value. And then we talk about the agent. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. It's a really good way to frame that. It's not. So Scott, do you have another agent that you've signed a contract with? Right? Not helpful. But Scott, I really don't want to step on anybody's toes. If you found the perfect home, do you have somebody you'd be working with, another agent, to buy that home, right? And then, by the way, would it be helpful? Have you talked to a bank for financing, or would it be helpful for me to bring the names of some great local mortgage people that would take good care of you? And so I'm getting the answer to that question, like, yeah, I've already talked to a bank. Oh, great. Which bank are you working with? Oh, yeah, I know them. They're great. Or I haven't heard of those before, but that sounds good. Why don't you bring a copy of your pre-approval along? Or, no, it'd be great to talk to a bank. All right, I'll tell you what, Scott. You know what we're going to do before our meeting tomorrow? I'm going to have one of these local lenders call you tonight. Let's have a 10-minute discussion. Make sure you're pre-approved and all that good stuff. How's that sound? Confirm all that stuff. Based on the answers to those questions, I'm either committing to the appointment by the end of the call that we already set at the beginning of the call, or I'm going to say, hey, Scott, I'll tell you what I think. I know we have that appointment for tomorrow. We talked about it. But because you're already working with another agent, it's really best that you seek off-market properties and all of those resources from your agent, because it's not ethical for me to meet with you if you already have a relationship. Or, okay, Scott, you know what? Before we commit to that appointment, let's get this lender conversation out of the way and make sure that you have peace of mind, because I don't want to put the cart before the horse and get you involved in properties and then you feel disappointed or anything like that. I want to make sure that you have peace of mind about the closing costs and all that good stuff. Or, hey, Scott, looks like you're buying in Hershey. That's not actually my market area. So I think, even if I can find you off-market properties, I can't find them there. So let me put you in touch with an agent up in Hershey. We'll back out of that appointment based on the answers to the qualifying questions. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay. Any questions on the structure of a call? Mm-hmm. All right. Cool. We're going to end that one right here.